Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks for watching the video. What I'm doing here, or what I've been doing, is I've been finishing this black walnut slab. This is a mantelpiece for on top of my mantle under my television. I had a tough time finding this piece because I needed it to be 24.5 inches deep. But I was able to find this piece of black walnut live edge. I got it cut to size, and I decided to try the Rubio Monocoat that everyone's been talking about. And this is my finished product. I wish I could have done a step-by-step video for everybody, but I just was too busy and didn't feel like doing all that. So I'm just gonna give you a recap video and give you some tips that I learned along the way. So first thing is I'm not a woodworker. I wouldn't say that I'm any level of woodworking. I mean, I've stained some things and built some things, but I felt like I was a little out of my league on this piece. But I found the Rubio Monocoat, watched some videos online. So just gonna share my experience and you know, what I went through and what I think of it. So again, black walnut live edge slab. I use the Rubio Pure plus 2C with the accelerator. Comes with I bought the kit, so it came with the trowel, the pads, all kinds of stuff. But I found a couple of tips and some other items that I grabbed to do this job. So when I got the slab, it was kiln dried. It was already cut to size or ready to go, basically. I started sanding with my palm sander, which is right over here. Started sanding with that, with the round discs. I got a package that had all different grits. I started at 60, went to 80, 100, 150, and then finally 180. I did do both sides because you're apparently not supposed to leave one side undone. So I just did one quick coat on the bottom. I didn't really pay as much attention or do as many steps. I just wanted to get it coated. But I did sand the top and bottom identically, so 60 to 180. Once it was sanded down to 180, I rose the grain with just, wiping on tap water onto the wood, let it air dry. It was dry in about an hour. And then after that, I wiped it with a tack cloth and I went over it with mineral spirits. Also did the edges with the mineral spirits because you are going to see the two short edges on each side when it's on my mantle. So mineral spirits, let it dry. It took about a couple hours for the mineral spirits to fully dry. And then I started with the first coat of the Rubio Monocoat. And I did do two coats here. So I know that there's some stuff going around, where you'd only need one coat. I found a video where a gentleman mentioned that with walnut, you do benefit from two coats. And I can see the difference already just by how it looked with one coat versus how it looks now with the second coat. So it definitely looks better. So let the mineral spirits dry, started with the first coat. Now, when I did the first coat, I didn't wipe off enough of the excess. So I applied it with the scraper. I got it soaked pretty good. And then I came through with the buffer on the palm sander and I buffed it all in. It was still pretty heavy on the oil on top. Not soaked, but, plenty. Did a nice buff. And then I wiped it down to which I thought was good, but it wasn't, because when that first coat dried and I allowed it to dry overnight, I came out, and if you looked at it the right way, like if you brought it down, you could see there were some duller spots and some shinier spots. So it was kind of like, I didn't know what happened. I thought I messed up. But then when I kind of looked into it a little more, I decided that I didn't wipe enough off on that first coat. So there was still some heavier areas, which I think dried a little more shiny. So I then went over it with the purple maroon scouring pad. I went over the whole thing and it just dulled it out. It got rid of all the shiny spots. It smoothed it out, just like a little buff. And then I wiped it down again with a tack cloth. I blew it off with air, and I came back for my second coat. Now with this coat, I did it very similarly. I poured it on, I spread it with the scraper, and then I came back with the buffer, buffed the whole top. I did go over it like a couple more times with the buffer on the second coat because I wanted to make sure it got nice and even and good saturation and coverage. And then I came back and I actually used 3 different cloths, all starting perfectly clean. So I wiped off, the initial excess. I got it pretty dry. And then I got rid of that rag, went to the second rag, wiped over the whole thing again. At this point, it was starting to feel a little more smooth, but still a little tacky in some places. And then I came back with the third rag and went over the whole thing again, really, firmly, almost giving it like a polish, like a buff with my hand. And then I got it to the point where it actually felt dry. So that's my tip, is that when you're wiping off the excess, just before you're gonna allow it to dry, definitely over dry it, over wipe it. If you think it's dry, grab a clean rag and wipe it again, because that's how you're gonna get the nice, even finish on that final coat. If you're only doing one coat, then make sure you dry it really well, because you are going to get blotchy areas that look shinier or duller. Also, make sure you have some type of good light source where you can look at the reflection, because as you see, when I change the angle on this, you can see, how it changes and how you can see any type of marks or defects. So this is the side where you get that light reflection, and you can see how it has a nice, pretty even sheen to it, where it did not after the first coat. So this came out much, much better. I feel like I got a more color out of it with that second coat as well. And it came out beautiful. It really did. It comes out looking real, real nice. And this black walnut is just really nice green. This is a nice piece. So, this is my first time using this product. It's my first time doing anything with a live edge slab. And I'm really happy with how it came out. So I hope I covered everything here. It did take about 2 days to complete because, I did want to let that first coat dry and cure overnight before I started messing with it again. And then I did just kind of sponge on a little bit on this live edge and then dried it off real well as well. So really happy with how this looked. I would definitely recommend the Rubio Monocoat on any type of slab project you're doing. It just made the grains pop so nice, and it's got just the perfect shine to it. Because it's going to be under my TV, I didn't want to do epoxy and have it like super shiny with any type of glare, possibly happening on the TV. So really like this. If you have any questions, feel free to comment and I'll try to help. All right, guys, thanks for watching.